3, 2, 1. Okay, so we are starting the sewing process. Should have cut out all of your pattern pieces, made all your markings, right? So let's go over them real quick. This is the yoke and the pocket. Okay. This is the pocket bag. We'll come back to these two. This is the back. This is the back, along with my markings for the darts. Okay. Markings for my darts there. And this is the front pattern. All right, so now we had to do the waistband pieces, right? So what I want you to do is take the measurement of along your stitch line, okay? I'm using the back pattern here because it has the darts, but you want to exclude the darts and just take it from the center back stitch line to the side seam stitch line, excluding the darts, okay? Get whatever that measurement is. Go ahead and make a rectangle, okay? Go ahead and make just a rectangle of that amount. So from here to here is that measurement. From that center back on is my extension. Now make my extension 2 inches, and then once I did that, I put the seam allowance all the way around, okay? Go ahead and mark your side seam notch there. I put a notch 3 inches from my center back along the bottom, okay? I made notations of my center back, and let's see what else. I put the extension is 2 inches, and you want to cut 2 of interfacing, and you want to cut 4 of fabric. Now, once you have your box, okay, at the very top, the top of your box, you want to go in about a 1/8 of an inch to a quarter to 1/4 of an inch, a quarter of an inch. So 1/8 to a quarter, okay? And then you're going to connect your bottom to your top, and that'll be a slanted line, okay? As you can kind of see here, made that a little slanted line. All right, now your bottom, instead of making it just straight, you want to go up a quarter of an inch, okay? And you want to make a slight curve there. So if I line mine up, probably out of range, but I'm gonna line mine up against the bottom edge here, and if I go across, you'll see that it goes up about a quarter of an inch right there, okay? So that's what you do for the back, and it's very similar for the front, except for my front doesn't have any darts, okay? But the process is the same. You take that measurement along the waistline, the lower waistline stitch line, okay? My front just has side seams, okay? It doesn't have an extension. So I just make whatever that calculation, make that into a box. Add the side seams, 5/8 of an inch all the way around. I mark off where my center front is, which is just 5/8 of an inch in. 3 inches from my center front, I make a notch there. And these notches is just to line it up with the lower waistline band. Make a mark for your, or notch for your side seam. And you do the exact same thing at the very top. At the top along the side seam side. I'm not sure if I said that over there on the back pattern, but it's along the side seam side is where you're making all of these adjustments. You're gonna go in anywhere from 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, and then go ahead and make your diagonal line. Then from the bottom, on your side seam side, you're going to go up 1/4 of an inch, and you're going to curve that in, okay, to make a little slight curve. And so that way it's just not a plain rectangle. You see here, again, you see that it has that slight curve from there, going back to the straight line. Okay, so that's all you have to do for your waistbands. If you don't already have a waistband, I don't know what I did with mine, so I had to make some. And one other, just a tip that I find make it easier, especially when you have to make adjustments to the inseam. I want to show you here, like, you know, I had to make adjustments to the inseam, maybe taking it in some. What you want to do to make it easier to sew is when you come down here, when you come down, just come down at a straight right angle for the seam allowance. So whatever, that's 5/8 of an inch. So just make a straight 90-degree angle here, okay? And then make your curve. So don't try to just make your curve, because some people, I'll draw on this one, some people try to make their curve or cut line directly from that tip right there. And it's hard to sew that. So what I found is if you just make that 90-degree angle instead, so here to here, and then go in, it's much easier to sew. Okay, so that's that other tip. Another tip that I do is, because you have to cut 4, you want to keep your pieces together. So this set goes together, okay, let me see, this set goes together, this set goes together. You don't want to mix and match, right? So I always put number 1, number 1, number 2, number 2. All right, so you're going to interface 1 of number 1, interface 1 of number 2. And remember, you always interface to the wrong side. And I always put X's on the wrong side, especially if it is a fabric that is the same on both sides, like mine is. Put an X so you know that that is the wrong side. Okay, so let's go over the fabric that I will be using. This is a denim. It is, I'm going to say it was 7 ounces. So it's a little shy of what they recommend for bottom weight, but it's summertime. So, you know, I don't want it heavy. It may resemble a heavier weight chambray. Chambray is usually used as a denim, but usually used for tops because it's lighter weight. But it's a little heavier, but maybe not as heavy as a true bottom weight, which is like a 9 ounce, I want to say. But I believe this is a 7 ounce denim slash chambray. It is 100% cotton. Of course, good for tops, shirts, things of that nature. More flowy, honestly, flowy bottoms that's not so tight, like maybe jeans, but like a flowy, like, you know, I wanted to make that, I forgot what it's called, but it's short, but it kind of looks like a skirt. It's flowy like a skirt, so that will probably be good for this. But we're gonna make some shorts out of this too, because it's real lightweight and breathable, because obviously it's 100% cotton. Now this is the selvage, right? So your lengthwise grain runs parallel to the selvage, right? So that should be the one that has, honestly, your less of a stretch. So let's just go ahead and see the stretch amount here. So when you're testing stretch, you always double it. So this is a single layer. You double it, right? And you're supposed to count out four of these blocks and stretch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and stretch it from there. You see it stretches maybe a half an inch, and that's me really tugging on it, okay? And that's the lengthwise grain that runs the length of your body, okay? Now this is the crosswise grain. It runs perpendicular. Just think it's a T. It runs perpendicular to the selvage. Okay, so, and excuse me, I have a cold. I'll try not to sniff. All right, so same thing. And remember, it's 100% cotton, so it may not stretch a lot. But 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to give it a tug. Same thing. So because it's 100% cotton, it's not going to stretch as much. That one stretched about the same, a half an inch. And then of course, your bias runs diagonal to the selvage, and you'll always get a little bit more of a stretch. And you can see that's a stretch. But we'll do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's probably about an inch of a stretch. Drape wise, let me see if I can picture this so you can kind of see the drape, right? Usually drape it doesn't fall on itself, so it's not really that drapey. Okay, and the other test is you can put it on your hand, and you can see if it kind of falls to, if it falls to your arm, it's could be considered drapey, or if it falls away. So it's in the middle. It doesn't automatically shoot to my arm. Like it is, let's see, it's not directly see-through. I would say it's opaque. I cannot see my hand through it. Okay. And let's see, wrinkles. And of course, cotton, wrinkles. So just keep that in mind, but that is what I will be using. Denim 7 ounces. So makes that breathable, but you get a little wrinkles with that as well. It does not have stretch, I would say, because it's only a half an inch. All right, so that is the fabric I'm going to be using. Feel free to let me know what fabric you're using. So one last thing for the equipment I'll be using, or the materials. I'll be using 100% polyester thread, white. I'll be using universal needle, size 12. Now, I don't use the jean needle just because it's a lighter weight fabric and not a true like 9 ounce or more denim. So I don't need that type of needle. A universal will do just fine. I will not be using a walking foot at all. And I want to say that's it.